Seems not a day goes by without some plan or other for losing weight making the headlines. And we know just how much Solent citizens care about their health and well-being. Last month, scientists published an editorial in the British Journal of Sports Medicine, no less, saying it was time to bust the myth about exercise being key to tackling obesity. Well, joining me now to take on the scientists is Lou Heron, who's a trainer for Les Mills, which is a distributor of exercise programs. You might have heard things like Body Pump or Body Combat. And just to keep our viewers in the loop, after the publication of research, Les Mills got in touch with us about coming on the programme. So Lou, you're an ambassador for the fitness industry. Of course, you want people to think that exercise is the key to being thin, but why should people believe you and not the scientists?
There's research out there that definitely shows that exercise alone can have a positive impact on the global obesity epidemic that we have currently. Les Mills themselves sanctioned some research with Penn State University in America, and they took a study group of 25 individuals, subjected them to a 30 weeks program of exercise that included strength training, cardiovascular training and flexibility. Beforehand, they took baseline measurements of their base body mass index, the body fat percentage, the lean muscle percentage, blood pressure, all those kind of things that are generally associated with well-being and health. And they took a midpoint range and recalculated, and then at the end of the 30 weeks they tested them again. And for all the participants, a mean value across the whole group, there was a decrease in their body mass index, there was a decrease in the percentage of fat in all the participants' body, there was an increase in the lean muscle mass of all the participants' body, and more importantly, there was decrease in what we call LDL cholesterol, low density lipoprotein cholesterol, which is the bad cholesterol that sticks to the blood vessels and causes things like strokes, embolisms, cardiovascular disease, factors that are caused directly by obesity. We know this, and we know that obesity is a burden on NHS. We know that in 2007 it cost the NHS £4.2 billion in obesity-related diseases, and that's predicted to rise to 50 billion in 2015, which is a huge increase unless we do something about it now. And Les Mills are committed to do this. They have classes that are suitable for children from 2 to 16. We've recognised that preventative is better than reactive measurements. And then once they hit 16, they can come and do the classes, the other 9 sessions that Les Mills have been providing for since 1980, so near on 20 odd years.
So you're saying these scientists who don't have an axe to grind, unlike you, have got it wrong, have they? They've done hundreds of studies, and I mean, I'm just reading one report there. Energy expenditure in activity appears to be playing no role in either causing or moderating the obesity epidemic. I mean, and I've got, you know, pages of this stuff.
You're always going to find research that you can sway to your own advantage to prove what you want to prove.
So that's what you're doing, is it then, isn't it? You guys have done your own research. Obviously you want it to find
diet, but I went to the gym and you didn't. Now I would burn more calories from being more active, so therefore my body mass index, my fat percentage would be lower than yours. So how leading a sedentary lifestyle, eating the same foods. Of course, diet plays a big part in what happens to your body, and fueling your body correctly is a massive part, and the two have to go together. But purely by because people will hear that, and very much now we have a blame culture where people like to think that somebody else can fix them. It's not my fault, please fix me. By saying that to people, it leads them into the mindset, okay, it's not my fault that I'm overweight and I'm obese. I don't have to do anything about it, because if I do something about it, it's not going to work. So if I just sit on my sofa and eat my fast food, then the NHS will fix me.
But I think what this report was getting at was this idea, which is often promoted by the food industry, so not you guys, which is that, you know, you can kind of eat what you want as long as you do exercise to go alongside it. And we can see that quite often in adverts by, you know, for example, well-known fizzy drinks manufacturers that, you know, show young, handsome, beautiful, lithe people doing sporty activity and then having a break and having this kind of fizzy pop. And the message is, you can drink this as long as you do exercise as well.
I think it's a very tenuous link. That's a cut side to saying an alcohol company who support major sporting events are saying it's okay to do sport as long as you refresh yourself with an alcoholic beverage afterwards. It's a very tenuous link. And I think, it's a very dangerous game to make those kind of links. These companies just promoting their own brands, and the way they do it is by using big events, whether it be sporting or music events. They're just using big events to get their name out there. They're not saying it's okay to exercise and then have a burger afterwards or any other such food that's we know is not good for us. They're just out there promoting their own selves.
So Les Mills has done one study with Penn State University, and here I've got numerous trials. Numerous trials have indicated that exercise plus calorie restriction achieves virtually the same result in weight loss as calorie restriction alone. So should we not just all eat less and more healthily?
I mean, that would be a great start. If everyone did eat less and more healthy, that would be a great start. But that alone isn't going to achieve.
Surely that's the only start.
That's not the only start. No, that alone is not going to achieve it, because by eating less, okay, you're not going to store as much fat, but you're not going to be cardiovascularly fit, and you're still going to be predisposed to illnesses and diseases that people acquire through a sedentary lifestyle. So if your exercise capacity is limited, and by that I mean, can you walk to a flight of stairs without having to put your hands on your knees at the end of it? Can you walk to the shop at the end of the road without feeling like your lungs are going to burst out of your chest? And if we can't do that as a population, then it doesn't matter how restricted our diet is, we're not physically fit. We can't carry shopping bags. We're going to be using wheelie trolleys instead, and that means that diseases like osteoporosis would be more prevalent because we're not weight bearing on our bones, joint diseases and those kind of things.
And indeed, to be fair to the research and to the scientists, they say exercise activity is a key part of staving off diseases such as diabetes, dementia, heart disease, and obviously all types of metabolic diseases. But I think what they're questioning is its link with obesity specifically.
I mean, obesity is not going to be cured by diet alone. Obesity is not going to be cured by exercise alone. It needs to be cured by the two together. But by putting out messages and saying to the general population that exercise alone cannot have a positive effect on obesity is very dangerous, because, and it's not just the single study that Les Mills have done, we've done numerous studies to prove over the course of years that it does have a positive effect. It will reduce the amount of body fat that you hold as an individual. It will reduce your susceptibility to illnesses such as diabetes and certain cancers that are associated with being obese. So if we can start the trend by getting people moving and reducing their sedentary lifestyle from a young age, so from the kids, using the Les Mills Born to Move program, which takes them up to 16 years old, in schools and leisure centres, that's the preventative side of it. We've then got 9 other programs that we offer to adults over 16. And we know, Nielsen have done a study. They kind of look at trends in the market, and they've taken 3,000 participants of group exercise classes. Of those 3,000 participants, the majority of them exercised 2 times a week, and they went primarily to the gym for the classes that were provided by Les Mills. 43% of that 3,000 people went at least 4 times a week to do the classes provided by Les Mills. Now we know, we've done research into this, that a retentive factor in gym membership is group exercise classes. It's fun. You can come and train with your mates. There's all kinds. There's dance classes, there's strength classes, there's body combat, so you can feel like you're a fighter. If you want the athletic side of it, we've got body attack. And if you want 30-minute training, we've got a HIIT program that goes with it, and the core strength, So we're catering to all lifestyles, all needs.
It all sounds really great, and obviously I think people should take note that it's not good for you. It's just that the links with obesity are still being debated, and hopefully we'll have more science on that soon. Thank you very much for joining me, Lou. A quick look at the sport now, and Paul Cook has been officially unveiled as the new manager of Portsmouth Football Club. Cook joins on a 3-year contract and was chosen from amongst around 150 applicants for the job following Andy Orford's departure last month. Solent News now went along to the press conference at Fratton Park to hear his plans for the club.
Obviously, just like to thank the chairman, Ian, the rest of the board, for showing the faith to come and ask me to join such a great club. I think when you're in management, you always want to be ambitious. You want to go as far as you can in the game. It's a very difficult game to manage in today's climate. I think Portsmouth's problems for years have been documented well. My job's now to make sure that the documentation's about winning and bringing success to the club. Eventually, when the dust settles, it'll be my job and the staff's job to achieve that goal for the club and the fans and for everyone. And what we can guarantee is that we will leave no stone unturned in our efforts to do that.
After the conference, Paul headed pitchside, where our reporter Ben Treppers asked him how easy a decision it was to drop from League One to League Two and join Pompey.
It wasn't an easy decision in any shape or form. It was a very professional decision made on the back of where I was and where I felt I could go. You know, that's the general gist of it. And you know, it was very flattering when Portsmouth asked for permission to speak to Chesterfield for me. You know, because I'm very aware of how great a club this is. And then when talks went on going between the two clubs, with myself and Chesterfield, myself and Portsmouth, it became apparent that Portsmouth I felt was the right move for me. Budgets in football is huge today. It's one of them things that, you know, if you're at a club and you get backing, you know, then you have a good chance. It doesn't mean you'll deliver success, but it gives you a chance of success. You know, luckily enough, I'm coming to a club now, and there's all kinds of different reasons. You know, Plymouth probably have a decent budget because geographically, you know, clubs on coasts must pay more to get players. That's just the logics of how Great Britain's built. So we have a competitive budget for League Two, without a shadow of a doubt. Now the problem is to put a team on the pitch.
And looking at the squad that you've inherited, you've got 2.5 months till the next season, new season starts, 3.5 till that transfer window closes. How do you make it your squad in that short period of time? I'll
sign players. I'll let players go. I'll transfer list players. I think it's been apparent that some of the players that have come in haven't done anywhere near that's required or good enough for this club, and they will let that know in no uncertain terms when they come back. We've got transfer targets. We're speaking. I would imagine we could have a signing or two done quite imminently. We mightn't get one or two over the line. It will be a very active summer for Portsmouth as a club, and I think the fans can go into this season knowing that we are doing our best to give them the success that they require.
And from the fans' point of view, of the last couple of years, they've had quite a bit of disappointment, false dawns perhaps, and targets that haven't been met. What makes you different in terms of achieving that target of promotion that you set?
There's no difference. You know, every manager will sit in the dugout and believe that they're going to obtain success. There's no difference at all. And what you've got to look at is the players on the pitch. That's where football games are won. They're not won in technical areas. They're not won on training grounds. They're won on a football pitch. And every division has the same dimensions in general, same 2 goals at the end of each pitch, and it's about the players on the pitch. And I want players to look forward, that when we come up the tunnel and we hear that roar's to back us. It's not to hinder us, it's to back us.
Elsewhere, ahead of tomorrow's final home game against Aston Villa, the pressure is on the Saints boss to keep the team in 7th place. Koeman's side have held a top 7 spot for pretty much the whole campaign, but with Swansea just a point behind, Southampton know they need to deliver to guarantee a spot in the Europa League next season. Kick-off is at 12:45. A quick look at the weather now, mainly cloudy and fairly breezy overnight with some very light and patchy rain possible later on. Fairly mild and frost-free, lows down to 8 degrees. Tomorrow's looking fine with any early clouds soon breaking up to allow some sunny spells. The winds will also ease up a bit, so it should feel nice and pleasant in the sunshine. Highs of 18 degrees on Saturday. Sunday will also be mainly dry with bright spells, if a tad chillier. It'll turn wet overnight into Monday though, and it's a mixed outlook into next week. You're watching Solent News now. Coming up on the programme, recovering from alcoholism and addiction, Portsmouth's personal stories. And hear from the school children on an interactive techie day with Teen Tech.